PNE presents The World of Weird. I'm Derek, joined by Ryan.
This is the weird stuff, man. We're here to talk about some crazy shit. It might have happened. It might have not happened. Probably didn't happen based on how your views are, but it's cool to at least see some of this stuff in front of you.
Fact or fiction? What the hell is it?
I mean, you don't see fucking National Enquirers everywhere now. You used to look and see Bat Boy sitting there looking at you and you'd be like, hey, what's going on there?
What's going on in the world of Bat Boy? But guess what? We're friends with Bat Boy, so...
He's my boy.
He's my Bat Boy.
Yeah.
Some weird shit going on in Antarctica. There's people winding up in water tanks and people drinking their just disgusting body.
Drinking their broken down body that's been soaked in the water for a month.
It's disgusting. We've got people that are living in crawl spaces, and people, the people don't even know that they're living in the crawl space.
They're in your house. They're eating your food. They're watching your satellite television. They're in your crawl space.
Hide your kids and hide your wife. Is that still relevant?
And hide your husbands.
Because we got women in the crawl space. And, of course, we're going to have to talk about Mr. H.H. Holmes this week because we love us a good killer story. And
Big topic, man.
Yeah, we're going to talk about America's first serial killer. Or one of the first, but he's definitely the one of much more publicity.
Yeah, this guy did this shit at a time when apparently you could just get away with doing this shit. Like, nobody even thought of it yet. So, but we'll definitely be getting into some of that. That's some really interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah. He was just out there having a little bit of fun. Just a little bit of fun. And, of course, maybe some alien life on the planet Venus. And a lot of weird shit going on in Venus.
Yeah, there's plenty to talk about with Venus. Who even thinks of Venus? Usually when you think about life in the solar system, it's definitely Mars.
Hey, and I'm your fire and your desire, or whatever.
We're gonna take a trip and we're gonna go towards the sun, crazily enough, instead of away from it. And we're gonna bring you some Venus news.
In case you're wondering about Venus.
It's getting hot in here.
All right, so we're going to get into our first topic, and our first topic is going to be what in the hell's going on in Antarctica right now? We've got a ton of, world leaders that have been visiting it over the years. There was a cryptic tweet from Buzz Aldrin. He supposedly made this tweet it was a mountain, but it looked like a pyramid, and it was a picture of that. And he tweeted, "It is evil itself."
Right. Wow.
Or something like that.
Well, it's odd that an astronaut would take a spiritual kind of view on something.
Right. Well, and right after he supposedly tweeted this, he fell ill and had to be airlifted out of Antarctica. But there's obviously conspiracy theories being thrown around there about what's actually down there. With all these world leaders going down there, it's like, do these people that are going to visit know something that's going on there that we don't know about? There's obviously there's a crash.
Maybe there's a fountain of youth or something. I mean, what if there was a crash? Why would they necessarily go?
To find out the answer to the universe.
Is the worldwide government so paranoid that we can't take pictures and send them?
I guess not. Apparently, a lot of people, here's what, people just say random shit. And people are saying that this year, that due to this Antarctica stuff, that the true God will reveal itself this year.
Ooh, wow. That's a big, big prediction.
We talked about Nostradamus a couple weeks ago.
That brings me to mind of that.
I don't know if he predicted that or not, though. So if it's not on his list, it can't be true.
No way. It can't happen.
But, I mean, as I said for the Buzz Aldrin tweet, it has since been debunked. Apparently, if you looked at the picture and everything, I'm not too familiar with Twitter. Apparently, it didn't show the date or everything that comes along with
It truncated the picture. It cropped it, and
Pretty much.
if you enlarged the picture, you would have seen more information. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. So I guess it ended up being a fake tweet, which is maybe good. if it was true, and that thing, the mountain/pyramid, is evil itself, then maybe it is good that it's untrue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm kind of disappointed because I'm ready to see some crazy shit.
Yeah, I want to see an evil mountain. What does an evil mountain look like?
Well, I think there's just an alien chilling in there right now. He's just having all these world leaders come and visit him, drinking wine, eating grapes. He's like, bow down to me, everybody.
Yeah, it would be hard to imagine what could possibly be going on with that.
But but there could be a possibility that there was a UFO that crashed there a long time ago. Could have been ancient ruins, something like that, something weird. But everyone always has an excuse for why they have visited. I know Prince Harry went down there here recently for a wounded warrior walk.
Yeah, it's pretty odd.
Which is, of all the places to go, why would you go to Antarctica? Whatever.
Yeah.
John Kerry was there. There's been some other world leaders, which I'm sorry for not having the names for.
Is it about, like, is there something going on with the environment maybe?
It could be, because I think
they're bringing in some heavy hitters to take a look and see, say, hey, we need to do something about this. Shit's getting real.
It could have to do with climate change, global warming, or something like that. I think within the past week or so, there was a crack a mile long in the Arctic shelf.
Yeah, I did read about that.
So, things are getting a little dicey.
Getting a little heated.
Down there. Yeah, definitely. But I guess that's just another discussion there, which we won't get into because we don't want to piss everybody off.
Okay, so the idea of pyramids in Antarctica, do you think that there's a pyramid somewhere down there?
I mean, that's a good question. I've always said, like the X-Files, I want to believe.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. Because, this world hasn't always been the way that it is right now, and civilization has evolved over a period of time way longer than we'll ever know. So we just, how people, there used to be some kind of highway that connected, what was it, connected Russia to like Canada or something weird like that?
Something like that.
Then there used to be a highway, and they found like evidence that all these different, genetically, that these beings were here and there and stuff. So, right. I mean, with that being said, the possibility of the Antarctic area being not snowy at some point, I guess there's a good chance of that. I don't know.
Right. I mean, you never know. There could have been alien life, which we call aliens now. Of course, the Earth is much older than the human race is. There could have been a different species or whatever that used to be there. Something might have happened. Maybe Antarctica didn't used to be frozen solid.
Yeah.
And used to be shifted around, you know what I mean, just different weather, different places. Yeah. You just never know.
It could have still been snowy or something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it'd have to be as treacherous as, what we perceive it to be.
Do you think there's something down there like the Thing?
Well, that's something that we're not going to know in our lifetimes. I would think it would be buried so deep that it would be impossible for us to kind of get to it.
That's true. I'd really like to know if there's something down there. So if anyone wants to give us the funds to go visit, we'll go.
Get some good coats on us to tackle it.
I'll just get me a nice windbreaker.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna be a man about this. I don't need no fucking jacket.
What gloves? I don't need gloves. I don't need shoes. I don't need nothing. I'm a man.
I'm a man, damn it.
I'm a man, and I'm almost 40.
Fucking, you mentioned that shit about the Thing, but also another good point, which is probably I think it's based on the original story that the Thing's based on. Fucking that episode of the X-Files. First season where they uncover that little worm thing.
Oh yeah, and everyone like goes crazy.
Yeah,
and tries to kill the other people or whatever.
Who the fuck didn't one of the two have it? Like, was it Mulder that ended up having it, or?
I do think Mulder ended up having it.
And then there was a dog that had it too, or something, right? Wasn't there a dog there?
I believe so. I just watched that episode within the past month, and of course, I don't remember it that well.
Well, I remember it pretty well because in the very beginning of it, it's kind of showing a couple guys fighting and stuff, just to introduce you to what's going on. And one of those guys played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely looked the type to do that.
Yeah, Ken Kirzinger, or it's really hard to say, Kirzinger or something like that. I think he was actually the stunt coordinator for the first few seasons of The X-Files. You'll see his name plastered in every episode.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. Wasn't one of them gonna like try and kill themselves or something?
I feel like there was something like that.
But then they just started brawling, and both of them ended up dead.
Yeah. Crazy concept, though, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
An alien fucking genetic thing that all it wants to do is continue to live. It doesn't care if it's frozen.
Yeah, and it would be definitely. I would definitely like to know what exactly is going on down there, because I mean, there's been a lot of buzz about it in the past few months, ever since Buzz Aldrin was airlifted out of there due to illness, and then the whole fake tweet thing. But it kind of like brought awareness to everything. Some people think that there's a Nazi tunnel down there or something, and of course everyone thinks that they might have had alien technology at some point.
Well, but I mean, we'll never know about that.
That's very true.
Until we actually find something with a swastika on it that's glowing a weird color. But, Hitler did have such a huge interest in all that if there was any legion of humanity that would have ever pursued anything like that, it would have been Hitler and
definitely
and his crew. Not giving him any props or anything, but it was probably the syphilis that got him to do that.
Yeah, probably. So maybe we'll find something out in this next year about what's going on down there. If not, we'll just have to keep on questioning it.
That's what we do.
We also this has been in the news for a little while, but it's just a really creepy story that was a mystery surrounding the death of Elisa Lam. Is it Lam or?
You can say that.
Yeah,
we're not trying to be disrespectful or anything.
Right. And she was. We're gonna have the link for you on our Facebook page. And
this is such a weird little thing because just based on my position, I was just introduced to it by the video, and I watched the video and then read the aftermath. So you got this chick who's visiting from Canada. I think
so. Yeah.
She's here doing something from Canada for a couple weeks or something, and it's on the day that she's supposed to be going back to Canada, and she's packed her stuff up, and she's kind of, working her way out of the place. She has this weird shit happen on the elevator. Like, it's like she's talking to somebody, but there's nobody there, and then the door opens and closes and does some really weird ghost-like shit.
Yeah, I mean, and she's I remember she's like poking her head out, kind of like looking around. She's getting up against the side to make it look like someone's looking for her, and she's trying to hide from them.
Yeah.
And she's just backed up against the front of the elevator, hoping, I guess, someone doesn't see her. And I don't know. I know she ended up in a water tank.
Yeah,
naked and dead, obviously.
Yeah. She goes missing, and police know that this was one of her last whereabouts. They discover this surveillance tape with all this weird shit happening on it. They're continuing their searches in the area. Apparently, sometime there were some complaints about the building's water supply on the top floors, where the water was discolored and just had a weird, odd taste to it. And come to find out, up in the reservoir up top of the building, her body was floating in there naked, just rotting and going into these people's fucking water.
I mean that also goes to show you shouldn't be drinking tap water in the first place. That's disgusting in
Use
itself,
your Brita
honestly.
filter.
Yeah.
Get the filter out the human.
That's very true. I've always been creeped out by the video. I've watched it multiple times, and just every time I'm just creeped out by it. I can't get used to it. I just don't understand. Is she running from somebody? She's going up and down the hall. She's hiding. She's just talking to herself or someone or something.
It's like she's out of her mind.
She I don't know. She might have been high on something. She could have been, but it just, I don't know.
I feel like that day there was a statement from somebody who lived in the building that said they had talked to her and they had discussed something about this book, and she was really clear-minded, the girl was, and said something about whether or not she wanted to lug this huge thing around all day since she was going to be taking a couple flights back home.
Right.
So that, to me, if that happens before the incident, obviously it happens before the incident. That tells me that she's clear-minded, but this needs to be said too. She did suffer from bipolar disorder.
Okay, well, but I don't really. I mean, I guess I know about people that are bipolar. They can be, I guess, happy one second, mad the next. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's more of an emotional thing. It's not something that makes you forget, what the fuck you're doing and puts you out of your mind, essentially.
Right. Yeah, she was definitely, but yeah, it just seemed like that behavior was a lot different than being bipolar.
Yeah.
And then especially ended up naked in the water tank. It's just weird to me. I personally think there's been foul play or something.
Yeah, I believe that something crazy happened in that sense. I don't remember reading about the place being haunted or anything weird like that. I guess everywhere's had their little incident that people can say that it's haunted, but I feel like it was just a regular old place and this shit happened, and so it just tells me that it is probably somebody in the building has murdered her, and
right.
Which they never said if she was raped or anything like that.
Yeah, you never really got any details after she died, just that she was found naked in the water tank, and that's it. It's like, okay.
So I take it that there's no evidence of anything else. It's just her dead body was found. Now, this is what I forget. Did they say something about the trauma? Did she have some kind of trauma or not?
I'm not sure. I don't remember ever anything about that.
Yeah. I don't remember. It's almost like she was locked or something in the water reservoir, and then.
Yeah, how did she get into the thing? I mean, I don't think you can just go there and lift the lid, can you? Well, a lot of people have died in a lot of hotels, so they all have their little morbid history.
You gotta die somewhere.
Well, if I was to die in a hotel, I would hope it'd be a 5-star. 5-star, maybe nice in a nice little suite or something.
Nothing but the best.
Well, okay, so since we think that, that could be a homicide, I guess we could go into a confirmed homicidal killer.
Yeah.
One of America's first serial killers, Dr. H.H. Holmes.
What a crazy guy.
If you don't know him, well, you're going to now, and you'll probably never forget him. I mean, this man is responsible for, he once admitted to 27 murders. Some people said that it could have been as high as 100 to 200.
200, yeah, I was going to say.
Something close to that. I mean, yeah, that's creepy. But that is nothing compared to how he killed these people and where he killed these people at, because this guy was a complete freak show. But before we get into that, let's talk about a little bit of his backstory. He grew up as a privileged child, I believe, and then he went into college he went to college. I forget which college it was. He's obviously a very smart person, but there apparently he was actually stealing corpses and running tests on dead people.
And also though he was somehow making claims, life insurance claims.
Yes, he was also scamming.
In addition to being a major serial killer, he also his grand goal was just to make as much money as he could.
Very true.
I feel like there's a lot of motivation in some of his killings for it, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you never really hear about. I guess he was just a sick, demented person, and I don't know. He was able to build. I guess he bought a building from someone, and it was 3 stories or so, something like that. He had his living quarters in there. He kind of built it into a castle in a way, and it had living quarters, but also he would take people there for job opportunities, quote unquote, to live there. But here's the thing: he would lock them in a room, and then he would kill them.
I read that it's like it was some kind of hotel or something.
Yeah. I think he opened it up as a hotel when Chicago World Fair happened.
Yeah, and it was supposedly like 3 miles from the World Fair location and stuff. But I read that he constructed a lot of these really crazy situations and like a floor or two of this building. And to mask like what he was doing, because if you're a contractor and you're going in there and you're building something really, really weird, and obviously like, what the fuck are you doing with this, man?
Right.
It's gonna raise suspicion. So he would hire some people to do a little bit of work, and then he'd fire them before they asked any questions, and then he'd just put in another batch of people to work. So that's kind of like that eliminates any question of that, which is really smart, and it's obvious with everything that he's done. He's really thought everything out.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was able to build trap doors, chutes from the third floor to the basement where he could dump the bodies.
Yeah, there was a hanging room that had like the trap door.
Yes.
There was a vault that he would put people in, and they would suffocate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think he would leak gas into the room.
Yeah. Do stuff like that too. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I guess he might have been getting his rocks off to killing these people, but he would turn around and use their bones and like create something that he could sell to the medical industry and stuff.
Yeah. And I think he was. I heard something about the way the floors were on one floor. It would kind of disorient people, and it was kind of like a maze going through the floor. And then they would go into the room. He would lock them in there. They'd beg to get out, and he would suffocate them or gas them or whatever. I guess he lured many women in there. And here's an interesting thing. I just read this lately. It's that he might have been a suspect, I think, in the Jack the Ripper case.
Oh, wow.
Also, but I mean, they never could prove that, which obviously everyone knows that because it's never been solved. But
I don't know. I don't feel like that's his style. Like,
I feel like Jack the Ripper was a bit more gruesome, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, I swear I feel like he was just motivated by greed. And a lot of the killing that he did, and he gained a lot from it. Like, there's his whole killing career, he would set up these life insurance things on people and then find a way to collect it.
Oh, yeah. And I think he'd make all these business deals, and he made one bad business deal with, I believe it was a lady. I forgot what her name was. But basically, she didn't get her money, and she tipped off the authorities. And at first, he was just arrested for, I guess, I don't know, tax evasion.
Yeah, something weird like that.
Something weird. And then before you know it, he's admitting to killing 27 people. One of his associates he admitted to killing. And the person that owned the building before that, I think, was a doctor. It was a pharmacy or something. Yeah. Mysteriously went missing, never found. So who knows?
Yeah, he supposedly brokered the deal to buy the pharmacy, and then I guess the man that owned the pharmacy had died, and It was his wife, so he made a deal with her, and people would come in asking after the deal was made, and after he was running the pharmacy, he'd be like, well, where's so-and-so at? And he'd say, oh, she went to go see family in Iowa or something like that, which that was the way that he would explain a lot of people around him that go missing. He'd say, oh, they're visiting family here, or they had to go see something there. Which in those days, you'd get away with that because you don't have cell phones, and landlines were few and far between, I would assume, at that point. That would have been early 1900s or something.
Right.
Just weird. I mean, it's like he knew that he could do this stuff, and nobody would catch up with him.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he had this weird-ass hotel castle building. It's just scary as can be. I don't even know if the building is still there.
Yeah, I don't, because see, I hadn't really heard about this guy before this. I had to, when you mentioned him for the show, I actually had to Google him.
He seemed like a really smart person, and that's terrifying. Like someone that smart using his smarts to kill people.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's like that was his solution to shit. It's like, well, I'm just going to kill this person and forge their signature that I own this property, because now that I have this property, it's my gateway to making a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. And I think, like I said, he admitted to killing 27 people. They said from 100 to 200 actually, but I guess they never did confirm that. And then he was finally convicted and hanged about 9 days before his 35th birthday. So he did that all at a young age.
Oh, and he went everywhere over the United States too. He was just bouncing around everywhere, killing everybody along the way. Just he changed his identity. I think he was married to 3 women simultaneously, legally, that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were all alive at the time, but I know that he legally was married to 3 at the same time.
Basically, he was a scumbag, but of the worst kind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had a kid or 2 through all this traveling and meeting up with these girls and stuff. But, yeah, just a really crazy guy, and it's just I think he must have got sloppy in the end or something, just because.
Well, he ripped off one person, and the money is what brings everyone down.
Yeah, it's your doing and it's your undoing.
They didn't get paid, and he was brought down.
Yeah.
But, here he was, just almost 35 years old, and he did all that in his life. Here I am, 32, and I thankfully have not killed anyone.
Yeah, we haven't killed anybody yet. Let's keep it that way.
Well, as much as you want to sometimes, just don't do it.
Just relax. Don't do it when you want to kill. All right, so I'm going to take over here. Let's talk about some of this. Let's talk about some of this Venus stuff.
Ooh, here we go.
That's a planet nobody ever thinks about. At least I never do.
Not really, no.
The only one I ever think about is Mars, because there's a high probability that someday we could inhabit Mars.
I think of Earth and Mars.
Earth, yeah. I think of Earth every now and then. But yeah. So Venus is the second planet from the sun. We are the third, right? I think.
Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun.
Yeah.
Joe Diffie.
So it makes it our neighbor, and it's pretty close to us, and its actual size is a hair smaller than the planet Earth, so we're about the same on that. And I'm gonna read off some random little Venus facts before we get into some of this. That way you can have a picture.
Yes.
As far as like a Venus year, it's 225 Earth days, but a day on Venus takes 243 Earth days, meaning it takes longer than a year for one day to happen.
Good Lord.
So that's just a random little thing. It rotates counterclockwise, which most planets rotate clockwise. So that's an odd little thing too.
Well, here's a question: if there is life on that planet, how long do you think they have to work? Yeah, they're not working 40 hours a week here. They're working
Yeah, because I wonder how the planet doesn't have a whole lot of rotation. That's why, one day would be your planet going around once. So it's taking forever for your planet just to turn around. That would mean half the time you have sun straight, and then half the time you have no sun straight.
That just is... Here, give these people a raise.
Yeah, there's some hard work going on there. The average ground temperature outside is around 860 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's pretty warm there.
Yeah, we don't need the windbreaker there, do we?
No. The pressure to stand outside is 92 times that of Earth's, so you would be scorchioed. You couldn't take it. I mean, there's just no way.
I could take it.
And besides the moon itself, it is the brightest thing in the sky when you look at the stars. Venus is.
Well, that's kind of romantic. It really is.
Yeah, because it's so close.
You're so beautiful. You remind me of Venus.
All right, so let's get into some of the meat of this.
Okay.
Apparently, there are some dark streaks in Venus's clouds that they are absorbing any UV light that gets thrown at them. So a lot of our, we try to examine a planet from a satellite or something, We do like UV scans and stuff to kind of go through the clouds. There's something in the clouds that actually is blocking that and
Right.
taking all that in. So that's a little weird. I don't think we've really encountered anything like that, but of course, scientists got shit figured out and they have some ideas about it. But apparently, we as in America are going to be joining up with Russia.
Here we go, Russia.
Where right now at the end of this month, there is a proposal being written up between the two organizations. I think Russia is they're going to be doing this proposal to get some probes to Venus to find out what's up, to start probing some of this shit and figure it out. Yeah, they're wanting to get some probes in the atmosphere to look at that and get something on the planet's surface, which 800 some degrees is awfully hot. So hopefully we can get some tech there that's not going to just disintegrate. But those clouds, anyways, a lot of it's been shown to be really like acidic, kind of bullshit. So the corrosive nature of that, it makes you wonder how they're even going to get through the atmosphere. But, Russia's actually they've had a couple probes there that have landed on the planet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did that in the late 70s and early 80s. They were really the first people to go after Venus.
Well, at least someone's thinking of Venus.
Venus might be Russia's Mars.
That is true.
Because, we hear a lot about Mars here in the States, but over in Russia, they might be like, fuck that shit. They got that claimed. Let's go after Venus.
Yeah, we're going after Venus.
Which theirs might be a little easier. Who knows?
I'm surprised they're teaming up with us to do this.
Yeah. I mean, it's really weird that the governments haven't prevented this. This is more like just the general human thirst for knowledge and we need to work together to utilize it.
This is where I guess not really regular humans, the very smart humans are actually coming together and like, okay, let's actually do something good and worth its shit.
Yeah.
Instead of people slinging mud at each other and all
Quit
this.
belly aching here. But apparently, and I don't know how they've figured this out, but below one of the areas of the dark clouds, there is a small little patch of land that has a temperature range between 86 and 158 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
And the pressure is actually similar to Earth's.
Huh.
Underneath this one little patch of this shit that could be potentially blocking some harmful gamma rays or something to allow people to exist in this little spot.
That little spot. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
That's so random, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe there's something there now.
They could be like a way for them to go into the planet and leave the planet, just like their little outside entryway or something.
Right. Huh. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'm pretty anxious to see like exactly how long or what happens when they get there.
Yeah. I mean, it should be more interesting than Mars, I think. Mars is flat out boring now. Yeah, it was pretty cool at first, but now it's, I don't know. We need to just get people down there and like get 100,000 people on Mars and just say, okay, everybody go, your own direction.
See what happens.
Let's scout it out, boys. Let's find some aliens.
How long did it take to get to Mars exactly? Do you remember?
I think in all of the fucking movies and stuff, it's under a year. 6 months, 9 months, something like that.
Do they all go to sleep for a little bit too?
No.
I don't know.
Well, in The Martian, they didn't.
Okay.
They were awake for all of it. They just had to do daily tasks to keep their brain health and their physical health going.
Well,
all right. Well, that's one topic to do with Venus. The other topic is about this humongous gravity wave that's been spotted on Venus. And when I say humongous, I mean big. I'm talking tig-ol', man, tig-ol'.
huge.
So we're talking about stretching from the North Pole to the South Pole, running about 10,000 kilometers, 6,200-ish or 6,300-ish miles long. So you're talking from the top to bottom. You got this huge anomaly that you can see from space, just clear as day. Fucking just this huge wave, and all the clouds are hitting it, and they're just bouncing off of it, and it looks really weird.
Yeah, I remember seeing the picture of it, and it just seeing like all this movement going on, and all of a sudden like there's just this wave or whatever it is just staying there.
Wave, yeah.
And it's just so weird. And what do they say it is exactly? Like,
they're calling it a gravity wave. Now, that's not to be confused with a gravitational wave.
Well, to me, in the picture, it looked like an actual solid structure to me.
Yeah. And it's that's the thing. From the picture, it looks like it's some kind of huge event going on.
Right.
Because it's major. It literally stretches across the whole top to bottom. Just makes a huge line.
It looks like something actually just like planted itself there. It's like, well, I'm just going to park here and stay here on your whole entire planet right there.
Yeah. Well, the discovery was actually, it's such a weird thing. Japan has their version of NASA. They had a orbiter arrive towards the end of December of 2015. They immediately took notice of this weirdness going on. And the scientists, they think they have a pretty good idea with the gravitational wave thing. So the idea is that they feel it's being caused because there's a mountain range right where this anomaly rests. And with the atmosphere moving so fast, whereas the planet itself, the land mass isn't really moving fast at all.
Mm-hmm.
The air is shifting so crazily, it's like hitting a big ramp. And it's just shooting it kind of up into the atmosphere, and that's why it's such a big deal. And it shows the power of the atmosphere if that's true.
Okay.
Just how fast it's going. I mean, it's got to be going something really crazy to create this weird-looking little picture.
Well, yeah, hopefully we find out soon.
Yeah, and I think we'll find out definitely when we get our asses to Venus. It's not Mars anymore.
Yeah, sorry, Mars. We are going to go into this just absolute creepy story out of some place, and I don't know. Just nice and creepy. That's what I like to hear.
Feeling the vibe, babies. Here we go.
I'm feeling it real good. Okay, so there was this guy. He lives. I guess he lives with his girlfriend, and so I guess he started seeing this weird stuff that his food started vanishing out of nowhere. So what he does is he blames his girlfriend, which was just an awful thing. That's like almost as bad as like asking a woman how old she is. You're not supposed to do that. You're just not supposed to do that.
I would be all over my wife about stuff like that.
Well, anyway, so he just didn't understand where his food was going. She denied it, so he sets up a nice little camera here, and I guess he didn't check it for a little while. I'm not really sure, but when he was going to bed at night or going to work, oh God, this lady was crawling out of his crawl space at night and getting in his refrigerator, eating his food. She watched his TV, laid on his couch, and just watching her come down out of this crawl space is just the creepiest thing that I've seen. Even more creepier than the lady that died in California.
Like
that we just discussed earlier.
What did this lady look like? Was she looking like a bum?
She looked disheveled.
Yeah.
And she looked like a witch.
Oh my God.
I mean, she was not well kept. I don't think she was showering or anything.
Ooh. How could you not smell that in your house? Ugh.
But there's just this part where he actually gets up in the middle of the night and she's still out, and he freaking opens up the refrigerator, gets a drink of milk, and she's still in the room, but she ducks down behind the couch, and he never even sees her. I mean, how terrifying is that, knowing that here you are going for 2 weeks, someone's living up in your crawl space, eating all your food, and just watching your TV, laying on your couch, just violating your space, and you don't even know it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, like when you get up in the middle of the night and you go take a piss or something like that, and you don't really look around because you would have heard something wake you up, or
Right.
so you thought.
Right. People check your crawl spaces if you have one. Check your vents. Check your closets. Someone might be living in your house.
Certainly check if you have an exterior way to get underneath your house, a little crawl space. Definitely peek your head in from time to time. Make sure nobody's screwing around down there, because that does happen, and that's a pretty scary thing.
It does happen.
There can be somebody under your floor in your house listening to your every words.
Yeah, so if you all want to be creeped out by that, we'll also have the link provided for you on our Facebook page, the story, the video, and it's downright creepy. I mean, I'll tell you what, if anyone gets in there and steals my ice cream or anything like that, I'll kill him.
It would just be,
I'd be more mad about you stealing my food.
I just
than you living with me.
Like that feeling of just disgust when somebody breaks into your car and steals your CD player or something weird like that, and just like I can't even imagine the feeling of violation that you get just knowing that somebody's been in your house this long doing this shit, and if you have your kid around or something like that. Oof. You got animals that are freaking out, they're being weird, but you don't know why they're being weird, and then you find out why they're being weird.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably in there being watched, all of his conversations listened to, and all the while this lady is living up and right there in his ceiling or whatever, and it's just bleh.
This guy's having sex with some hooker, getting into some freaky deaky, and there's this fucking weird witch bitch in the fucking attic just watching.
He edited out all the sex scenes. He's like, well, my girlfriend, she can't see this, but I just can't believe he had the balls to confront his girlfriend about, you eating all my food? Eating all my food? And she's probably just like, fuck you, asshole.
Can you imagine the feeling of reviewing that footage, and then for the first time you see that there's somebody in your house?
Honestly, it kind of reminded me of The Ring, the way she crawled out of
all fucking.
And I just like, my God,
spider-like.
Is she gonna come out of the camera, the screen at me or something?
The guy's like, he's sitting there and he's reviewing. He's reviewing the tape.
He's probably like, we're going to catch a ghost here.
It's ultra low resolution.
That's what we're going to do.
At the same time, he's got a live feed of him sitting in the chair watching this shit. And he's reviewing the tapes, and he's seeing, like, in these various moments, he's seeing this fucking crazy bitch come out of the fucking crawl space. And his jaw hits the floor, and all the while he's not noticing in that little feed that this bitch is coming up behind him.
Coming up behind him with a nice little knife.
Yeah. And he turns around and he shits himself.
Yes. But she was she was apprehended, thank God, and placed somewhere, hopefully far, far away from his home, and hopefully far, far away from my home.
I'm interested in just knowing the layout of this house, and how does this even happen? Did she come in from the outside, and you're able to sneak in through a crawl space outside and sneak in through a crawl space that leads inside? That's bad design on a house, man.
That is a terrible design. I just don't see how you don't know someone's in your house for 2 weeks. I mean, and all it took was for his food to go missing.
How often do you check your house completely, though? Are you able to lay eyes on every corner of your house all the time?
No.
Do you open those closets every day?
I do not.
See? They sneak in through the cracks, man.
Well, shit. I probably should go home and check some closets.
Yep.
It's kind of weird to think about it. It's just like, you feel so safe in your home.
Yeah, you take for granted that somebody can slip in there and be up to no good.
Yeah, you're in there, you're nice and warm in the winter, or nice and cool in the summer, and you're watching your Netflix, and just you could be being watched or listened to, or just someone might be in the same room with you and you don't even know it.
Think about Paranormal Activity and like the shots of where the chick would get up and just be standing there for hours, like just staring.
Yep.
In the same position. Like, that would be so terrifying to wake up. Have you ever had like a little dream where it's like you're awake and then somebody's in the doorway of your bedroom, and then you wake up and you look, and for a second you see somebody, but they're not there because your mind is playing a little trick on you.
Right. Well, I remember once I guess I was half asleep. I used to always lay on my stomach and all that. I always put my face in the pillow, which is probably unsafe, but I don't sleep like that anymore because it's bad for your back.
Yeah, it's tough on mine.
But anyways, So I just remember, I guess I'm half asleep, and I don't know if I was having a dream or not. I just remember I hear this breathing, and it's just like right in my ear, and it's just like, and it brings me out of my sleep, and then I look up, and I just felt like there was someone standing right there. It felt like just watching me, but I mean there was no one there. But I just remember it just seemed like I was awake with my eyes closed, and someone or something was breathing in my ear. And I mean, I lived by myself at that time, so
yeah,
it was pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary thought to think about that kind of shit, because it rarely happens, I guess, but I feel like it does happen.
It does happen, and it might happen more than we even know,
Yeah.
and it could go on, and you could live somewhere and not ever know it.
Yeah, and being stalked.
Now, there was a house that me and my wife lived in, and just one night I wake up to this terrifying noise. I thought the fucking Exorcist was happening in my. We didn't have a ceiling or anything, but I guess there was an old crawl space there or something. There was some room up there between the, because they had drop ceilings and all that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm in a bedroom and I just hear just an evil sound, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that? It was the most terrifying thing I've ever heard in my life, and and I hear thud, and
Oh my God.
I never confirmed what it was. I guess it was a raccoon. I hope it was a raccoon.
In your ceiling, huh?
In the ceiling, something. I guess it got in some way. It was terrifying. I was hoping it wasn't a possum, because I'm definitely afraid of possums.
Yeah, and it could have been a possum if it was acting like that.
And I just remember my wife saying, go check it. Check it out. I'm like, no fucking way. No way in hell I was going to check that out. That was in the middle of the night.
Yeah, fuck that.
No way in hell. I'm not getting possessed by the devil or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'd probably blame someone trying to play a joke on me or something. I'm like, someone's messing with me now.
That'd be a good joke.
It would be a hell of a joke, and hopefully no one ever pulls it on me.
Yeah, that's taking it to the max. That's when we got cameras set up everywhere.
But that was a demon sound that I heard. It was.
All right. Well, I think that probably about wraps us up, I think. Does that sound about right?
That sounds good to me. I'm a little creeped out now, so
yeah.
I'm afraid to go home.
Definitely go home and get your teddy bear and listen to the podcast, and don't go to sleep.
Or sleep with one eye open.
Yeah. But there will be two eyes on you.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Stay weird.